Welcome to the Education Corner, a podcast by Education Choices magazine.
Education Corner podcast would like to welcome Miss Rachel Bailey, Headmistress at Benenden School in Kent. Situated on 250 acres of parkland in the heart of the Kent countryside, Benenden is one of the world's leading all-girls boarding schools, taking pupils aged 11 to 18. Benenden aims to inspire future leaders and thinkers to shape a better world through a forward-thinking academic curriculum, a thrilling co-curricular opportunity and unrivaled pastoral care. The school works to create a culture of intellectual curiosity, ignite a passion, creativity and innovation, nurture the value of community and inspire each individual to make a difference. Rachel joined Benenden this year, having previously been deputy head and then head of senior school at the Royal Masonic School for Girls. It's such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Firstly, can you tell us about your background and how you came to be head at Benenden?
So I started teaching back in the late 90s and I didn't really fall into education. I'd always known it was probably likely to be in my future. My mum was a teacher. I always quite enjoyed that world, but started teacher training and I found my passion. Let's put it that way. The light bulb went on and I found my passion. And I started working at an all-boys grammar school in High Wycombe. So I was in the maintained sector for 20 years, had a great career, loved it there, moved from a sort of very naive NQT and just progressed up the ranks. I was very lucky with my head at the time. As far as I'm concerned, a great talent spotter and promoted me through. And so I was there for 20 years and ran the sixth form, around the academic side of the school and loved it. And then moved over to the Royal Masonic School for Girls, decided it was time I moved to all-girl education, having enjoyed it very much when I was at school and wanted to move over to the independent sector as well. So the Royal Masonic School was great, really believed in a holistic education, very much chimed with my sense of educational purpose. And I joined as the senior deputy, academic lead, and then became head of senior school. So my first headship started in the middle of COVID. So that was exciting. And then, to be honest, very happy at RMS. But then the Benenden post came up and I thought, well, why not? It was a school that chimed with me, again, educationally and in terms of ethos and about educating young women who are going to shape the future. And so I put my hat into the ring and surprise, surprise, here I am a year later, pretty much to the day after being appointed.
Wow. On the school's website, it emphasises learning to achieve balance in their lives as one of the school's aims for pupils. Could you tell us more about this and the ethos and values at Benenden?
It comes back to educational vision and purpose. So education should be about inspiring and equipping students. And so we want to equip them. So we do want to open doors for them. And that means things like getting brilliant exam results. But it also means about equipping them with skills and character traits that mean when they go on into adult life, then they are ready to take up challenges and they're not fazed by that. They've already had a go at that along the way. And the best way, in my view, to do that is to nurture and support and structure students during their time at school. So what you need to focus on is the process of learning. We need to encourage them to love learning, essentially, and become lifelong learners. And to do that, you have to focus on the process. Because if you focus on outcomes all the time, you become incredibly outcome focused. And actually for girls, they tend then to perfectionism, which actually is detrimental to them because they tend not to even start things then. So you've got to nurture them through. And it's not just about exam results. It's about those interpersonal skills. It's the creativity, the innovation, the team working, the problem solving. And being able to work with others, compromise, listen well, disagree well, and build the confidence that goes with that. And essentially what we're wanting them to be is we want them to be comfortable in their own skin. We want them to be able to articulate their ideas in a way that is genuine to them. And so you have to create a culture where to achieve that, you have to value every child for who they are and encourage them along the way. So for us, the academic, of course, is important, but for every child, they have talents elsewhere as well. So music, sport, debating, leadership, we want to encourage that. So by having the curriculum that we have with our complete education, what we're doing is nurturing all of those skills and talents and attributes so that when they leave us, they've got a really strong foundation to take them on to university and beyond. They're not the finished product. Nobody is the finished product when they leave school, but what we've done is provided them with a really strong base.
And the website also says we expect each pupil to be a responsible and considerate citizen who will play an active part in society. How are you preparing pupils for life beyond school with things such as life skills and careers?
There are a few elements to this. So one is we've got a great careers program and a really good careers team. So in terms of setting them up, in terms of the awareness of their skills base, how they can demonstrate how all of the things they do will help them in future life. Our careers team are brilliant on that, and they help them work that through all the way through the school. And then, of course, preparing them for moving on to the next stage. Obviously, they have that preparation. Things like our life skills and PSHE program is really comprehensive, and a lot of that focuses on those skills of awareness of each other and different views and perspectives. And again, I've said it once already, but the art of disagreeing well and how we put different viewpoints across in a constructive way is also good. But then we get them out of the school bubble as well, in that in the sixth form, they all have some form of service education. In old parlance, that's volunteering. So all of our sixth form go out and they volunteer with partners, which might be local schools, we have retirement homes, we have a local community shop, and a range of different activities in the local area. So that community work is important as well. So they're demonstrating those skills. And these girls also are not afraid of taking an opportunity. So when things come up, they embrace that, and that just keeps developing them.
And Benenden describes their curriculum as a complete education. Could you explain what this means and how it benefits your students?
So it comes back to that idea of an all-rounded education I was saying about earlier. So our complete education means that they have a challenging and rigorous academic curriculum, but alongside that, we are embedding skills and we're embedding sort of global awareness. We want them to think creatively as well. So in the lowest school, they have the diploma. So our fourths and upper fourths follow the diploma, which means that they have themes every term. So this term, for example, is sustainability. And the youngest students did a project on how do you ensure the continuation of heritage, I'm going to say breeds, but it's not the right word, for plants and vegetables and that sort of thing. So we take them off timetable and they've got this remit that this is what they're working on, and they will have input from a range of places. So for example, we went to Sissinghurst Gardens down the road and they had input from experts there. Then they did some scientific work from the science department, which was led. They did artwork, which was about developing their awareness of products and plants, alongside making vegetable soup, which was delicious, by the way. And then they bring that all together and they present then their findings and their recommendations as part of a team. So those inquiry weeks are incredibly powerful, and the girls really enjoy them and they get really engaged with them. And so they're learning, they're having fun, but we're challenging them actually. And even at a young age, that was week 3 they were in and they were doing that work, and some great outcomes.
How do you feel that the single-sex environment benefits the girls at Benenden? And do they have opportunities to socialise beyond life at school in co-educational settings as well?
So single-sex education absolutely benefits girls. There's lots of research out there, and I won't go into massive amounts of depth on it because many people have said this many times, but obviously academic results are better for girls in single-sex education compared to their counterparts in co-ed. They are more likely to take up STEM subjects and subjects in traditionally male-dominated areas. Girls are more likely to continue in competitive sport longer in single-sex environments than girls in co-ed. And an interesting little stat for you, 23% of the UK Olympic team came from a single-sex school, which probably tells you quite a lot. You've got girls are more likely to go into leadership positions because they've been in an environment where women take the lead all the time. They do not question their right to be in the room. And well-being levels are higher for girls who have gone through single-sex education. So all the research is out there. So yes, I do believe single-sex education is great and it's really good for girls. Having said that, whilst they will be fine going on, yes, we do work as well with boys. We work quite closely with Tunbridge School. And we have the socials with them, which are great. They have lots of fun. But also we do more substantive pieces of work with them as well. So we are doing some joint inquiry weeks with Tunbridge. We've done some great empathy days where some of the older students have looked at viewpoints from the different genders, which is really interesting and has caused some really interesting debate. We have done joint work with them for music, and that's a relationship that's developing all the time.
And in the summer, Benenden achieved outstanding exam results with 71% A star to A level and 42% level 9 at GCSE. How do you feel that your approach to academics has led to such wonderful results?
It's a brilliant confirmation of what we do here in terms of the complete education programme that we have, because the base to this is that we've got girls who love learning. And actually, it means they're not afraid of a challenge. So when they get to the exam years and there is that step up and things are challenging and things aren't easy all the time, actually, they're not afraid of getting into it and just dealing with it. And they've got strategies to address it. So that's one element. Secondly, we've just got excellent staff, really high caliber staff who really care about the girls and invest in their own professional development, which means that they are inspiring teachers themselves. We track and monitor as they go through, as you would expect any school to do. But then we have bespoke interventions for the girls. We don't ask them just to come along to a general clinic, for example. It will be specific 10, 15 minutes with an individual member of staff, which means that you can address the particular thing that they need to work on. And so it's that little and often approach, which is really helpful to the girls. And they know that we're here to support. So they're quite proactive as well in coming to us with specific ideas. It's a healthy learning environment. These girls have fun. They are productive. They are used to being busy. They are not afraid of hard work. And that all together, in a nutshell, then brings together some really exceptional results. And we were very, very happy to be in the top 7% of schools nationally for value added, particularly, which I'm really pleased about, because that's not just about having clever girls getting good results. That means that what we're doing at the school is really making a difference to the outcomes for these girls.
And Beneden's location is described as the best of both worlds, with the school located in 250 acres of Kent parkland, whilst also being within easy reach of London by train. How do your pupils benefit from this location?
It means we're connected to the big wide world nicely, but they're in this gorgeous rural setting. And if you're talking about well-being, it doesn't get much better than this as a physical setting. It really doesn't. So they have that benefit. And it also means that there is an element where there's not a distraction so much because they are all here. They all focus on each other and you have a real community that's built, which is brilliant. And whilst obviously we offer the flexibility, and whilst we're full boarding, we do have a flexibility in that the girls, if they wish, can go home after Saturday sport and for the weekend. The majority decide to stay in just because they just like being here. And as a result, you've got a real community feel to the school. And the girls genuinely enjoy being with each other. The complaint I get from parents is usually that they want to know why their daughters don't want to come home. And there's a sort of concern that parents are feeling a little bit rejected sometimes. But it's great. They just love being here and it's a fun place to be. And I think partly that is the location because they are not distracted by other things.
And as a boarding school, what do weekends look like at Benenden?
They are busy, I can say. So let's give you last weekend as an example. In the morning on Saturday morning, we have lessons first thing in the morning, and then we're into matches. And we had 10 to 12 different matches going on site. So the girls were all in supporting. Parents come on site. Our parents are great. We like our parents coming on site. So they will often be here at the weekends. They'll come and have lunch with the girls or brunch on a Sunday. And that's a great aspect of the school. Matches were going on. And then the fourths, our youngest girls, were decorating nutcracker models. You can't see them, but there are 40 of them in my office. I've been invaded by a nutcracker army, which is great. And they were having a great time doing that. The older girls, we've got a number of us who are preparing for interviews for Oxford and Cambridge. So some of them were doing interview practice and preparation in-house. On Sunday, we took 400 of them to Bluewater to go shopping, which was entertaining. Bluewater did very well to cope with the onslaught of Benenden students. But it's buzzy. There's a lot going on. The girls have a lot of choice at the weekend. And so there is still that real community feel. We don't clear out at the weekends at all. So it's worth staying in because there's a lot going on.
For girls who are boarding at Benenden, you offer lots of support, including the support for older girls in the sixth form, which one pupil has actually described as a big sister. How do pupils benefit from the support from other pupils in addition to members of staff?
And it's not just the boarding students who benefit from that. That's our day pupils as well. They all have big sisters. So the older girls will come in and they act as a big sister. Now, we know that older students actually have far more sway on younger students than we do as adults, because what would we know? We're just adults. The younger ones hold the older girls in high esteem. So encouraging them to help them and support them and let them talk to them and engage in that family way is really helpful. They also have a girl within their year group or perhaps the year above, maybe not so old, who acts as a house mother. Don't try and work out the generational changes within this, but have a house mother who's really like a buddy. Somebody they can talk to. If I want to do some washing, what do I do? You know, those sorts of questions so that they feel they can come to them. But then you've got the sixth form who also come into house. So whilst the sixth form girls are in separate founders' houses, sixth form houses, they come into the middle school and junior house and just spend time with them in the evening. So you've got that real family feel. So the girls are incredibly important in the supportive nature of the school, as well as the adult, and it works. There's a really nice synergy there. I've got to say what's particularly distinctive about the school is that the girls here really understand that together we are stronger than working as individuals. And they really understand that their friends' success does not diminish their own. And so you have a genuinely supportive environment where they encourage and cheerlead each other, which is just brilliant to be a part of.
Finally, obviously, you're celebrating your first full term, I believe. But what are your plans and hopes for the future of Benenden School?
So yes, first full term, it's been full on, which has been brilliant. What are the plans? Well, we'll keep building. The foundations of the school are not going to change. The principles on which the school were based in terms of the complete education, the importance of all-round education for girls, single sex, all of those things are very much in the future of the school still. Obviously, maintaining these brilliant exam results are key because it opens the doors to the girls, and that's great. But then we have to keep developing the curriculum because our curriculum has to stay as current as possible to equip these girls well for the future. So, for example, we're doing lots of work about AI. How do we integrate AI into the curriculum, particularly diplomas? Because we've got to encourage the girls to work with it. It's not something that we can just ignore. It is having an impact. So how can we embrace it and use it effectively? So the curriculum development is key. And then constantly evolving what we're offering in terms of our pastoral provision, because we are and need to remain experts in all things to do with girls and women so that we set them up for the future. And so whatever that looks like, be it mobile phones and use of social media, be it how we deal with the pressures of being a woman in society. These are all things that we have to address and we have to keep evolving as part of our pastoral provision. And then the co-curricular life of the school and constantly developing that because that's exciting, it's fun. And actually that's often where pupils find their real passions that they go on to continue with. And my own personal pet project is I would love to have stables and horses on site. I would love to have that. We've got 200 acres of beautiful parkland. So when I'm looking at the sport review of the school, equine sport could well be part of that. The girls do already ride, but I just want our own, which would be brilliant.
Thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful to hear so much about Benenden and also to meet you, Rachel. So I look forward to speaking to you again and hearing how you get on with the horses.
Thank you very much.